So we're doing adding and subtracting right now of equations. We're only going to have one variable. That variable on the page we just did, almost all of them use the variable x. You will see as we kind of get into some of our book work, they will use a lot of different letters. This is one example of how they're using pictorial models to show a balance of equations. You can see here they've got the equation written at the top, but it also shows you in the picture. And for the variable, they have these little balls on one side with a letter in the middle of it, and this is symbolizing what you're solving for. So sometimes you'll see an actual picture and it'll look like this, and sometimes you'll see strip diagrams where it's showing missing parts or part whole. These are all things that you were taught in 2nd grade and 3rd grade and 4th grade. So they're going to symbolize it in different ways, and I'm going to show you another way because they quickly take the pictures away and just give you that. I need to give you some strategies so when you get this, it's not overwhelming and you know what to do. So the first one I want to work on with you is, let's do this one. So if I have c plus 1 is equal to 8 minus 4. We know we're going to have to take care of this 8 minus 4 first, which is 4. Good. So that means when I take care of this, this side is going to be worth 4. Now, you guys, because we're using really small numbers, right now you want to yell out, C is 3, because you know 3 plus 1 equals 4. But when you're doing it that way, we're actually subtracting 1 from both sides, and 4 minus 1 is 3. So C is 3. So when you first start doing it, a lot of times you're just like, well, I know it's 3 because 3 plus 1 is equal to 4. And that's fine. And it's okay that y'all are doing that as you're learning it. But you also have to see, okay, when I'm doing that, I'm taking 1 off both sides. Some equations will be just simple addition where you'll have, let's see, 42 is equal to 26 plus s. Do you see how I jumped away from the little numbers pretty fast? Okay, this is why I've taught you guys, if you want to help yourself visually see it, take a second and make the little triangle and make your own balance. You've done hands-on equations with me now, so you know both sides. Whatever you do to one side, you have to do to the other. Otherwise, you've tipped the scale, and you can't do that to keep it balanced. So on this one right here, I've got a 26 on this side with the S. How do I get it to the other side? What could I do? Thinking about what we just did in Partners Together. Parker?
You could subtract 26 from 42.
Good. I can subtract 26 from both sides. And when I do that, 12 minus 6 is 6, and 3 minus 2 is 1. So I can find S is equal to 16. I can check that by adding 26 plus 16 together. 6 plus 6 is 12, 2, 3, 4. I just checked that 26 plus 16 is 42, so I know my answer is correct. Take 2 seconds and check your work on these, okay? All you have to do is plug in whatever you think the variable is into the original equation, and you can tell if you've made a mistake really fast. And most of the time, these are pretty easy addition subtraction problems. Give me a thumbs up if you're good on this. The other ones with subtraction get a little trickier. If I do a minus 8 is equal to 20. Now we're doing something a little different. Is A going to represent a number that's larger or smaller than the number 20?
Larger.
Larger, because you're taking away 8 to equal 20. A lot of times what I see kids do now is because it's subtracting 8 on this side, you try to subtract 8 on the right, and then all of a sudden you're telling me 12 minus 8 equals 20. Do you see why checking would come in handy there? What could I do with this minus 8 on this side? What could I do to get it over to the other side? Clemente? What do you think? We did it this morning. Do you remember?
A is 20A.
Well, you're right. A is 28. But what would you do with the 8 to get the 28? Lila?
Subtract it by 20.
No, it's not subtract by 20.
Add it.
You add. You do the opposite. So if it's a negative 8 or a minus 8 on this side, I'm going to add 8 to both sides because negative 8 plus 8 is equal 0. I'm kind of giving you a preview of beginning of 6th grade. Don't panic. I use these terms with you a lot so you understand what the integers are going to look like when you get there. So when I do this, I'm adding 8 to the other side. If it's a minus 8 on this side, it's a plus 8 on that side, and A is equal to 28. Do you see how that works? Let's do one more just like that because these are a little bit tougher. Let's do 24 is equal to T minus 7. So what do I want to do with my 7? Campbell, what do I want to do with the 7?
I want to add 24.
Good. I'm going to take it over here and add it to the 24. And 24 plus 7 is 31 is equal to T. And that's my answer. Give me a thumbs up if this looks pretty good so far. You're balancing it out. You're moving things from one side to the other. But really we're adding, on this one, we're adding 7 to negative 7 to make it go away. I'm going to show you one more. And this tends to be one of the trickier ones. So sometimes you'll have a number minus a variable is equal to another number. Well, this one's going to look a little different. Can I do 14 minus 20 right now? 14 minus 20 is negative 6, and we'll get there in 5th grade. So what could you do to solve this one? What could you do in order to solve this? What do you think, Brandon? 20 plus 14 is 34. Is 20 minus 34 14?
No.
No. That kind of pushes us up too high. Yes, sir. What do you think?
You said 5th grade. You'll learn like the negatives in 5th grade beyond 5th grade. Yeah, that's fair.
Jack.
14 plus the variable equals 20.
So what Jack wants to do is rewrite this. That's an option. Could I say 14 plus B equals 20 and go backwards?
Mm-hmm.
Sure. What would you do with the equation now? Yes, ma'am.
I would do 20 minus 14.
So you want to take this 14 and subtract 14 from both sides? And that gives you B equals 6. Can I plug it back into the equation 20 minus 6 equals 14 and have a true numerical expression?
Yeah.
Or equation? 20 minus 16 is 14. And 14 is equal to 14, so it checks out.
Couldn't you do on that side though? 20 minus 14 equals 6 instead of the answer?
So you want to put it on this side and do it like this? Okay, well then when I take both numbers off of both sides, now I have 6 minus b on one side and nothing on the other. But in this situation, I could take the negative b and add b to each side to get it over on here. And then 6 would equal b. With this one, you're really just kind of flip-flopping. You're sending the b to this side and changing it from a negative to a positive, and the 14 goes to that side as a negative 14 or minus 14. But that's kind of going a little bit further than y'all need to today. But sometimes what Jack suggested of rearranging the problem makes it easier to solve it, because otherwise you've got to do a lot of rearranging on both sides. Make sense?